So my idea is cinnamon baked donuts. And the good news is they're baked, not fried, and they're so good. So first I'm gonna do the dry ingredients. 2 cups of flour. I always use all-purpose flour. Just level it off with your hand. 1.5 cups of sugar. That should be about a half. Baking powder. I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You want them to be really light. I'm just sifting this all together when I'm done combining it. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. These are really good. And they have a cinnamon sugar outside. It's kind of like cinnamon toast. Jeffrey's gonna like these. And 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna sift these all together. I don't know, there's something about cinnamon toast that always reminds me of being a little kid when you're sick and that's what your mother makes you. Makes you feel better. I used to make cinnamon muffins in the store, but cinnamon donuts are even better. So next, the wet ingredients. I've got 1 1/4 cups of whole milk, and I just whisked in 1 extra large egg. And I've got 2 tablespoons of butter that have melted and cooled. Just pour it together. This is really easy. It's just wet ingredients, dry ingredients, combine them. 2 teaspoons of good vanilla, my favorite flavor. I always mix things in a measuring cup because then you can measure and mix at the same time. And a little whisk is one of my favorite things. Okay, wet ingredients, dry ingredients, just combine them. So I'm just gonna pour this right in the middle and then just stir them. I love this recipe because you don't have to fry the donuts. And then not to mention, it's better for you than fried donuts. But in fact, you don't end up with grease all over the kitchen. So this is gonna go into a baking pan and they're just baked in the oven. So good. Okay, just stir this just enough. It's kind of like muffins, you don't wanna overmix it. Just until all the ingredients are wet and there are no lumps. I can smell the cinnamon and nutmeg, it's fantastic. Okay, that's done. So, baking pans. So they're these little mini donut pans. You can usually find them in a store, but if you can't, you can get them online. And I'm just gonna spoon it into these pans, and they come out looking like the most perfect donuts. You don't need a pastry bag. You don't need a deep fryer. Just fill them with a spoon. So these are gonna bake 350 degrees for 17 minutes until they just spring back when they touch them. And then I'm gonna do a cinnamon sugar glaze for them. Oh, they smell so good. Wow. So the easiest way to get these out of the pan, because you want to do it and have them in one piece, is just kind of wrap them on the board a little bit and then turn them out. And if you're lucky, and I am, they all came out. So just melt some butter, and then I'm gonna make cinnamon sugar. The thing about cinnamon sugar is it has to be just the right combination. You don't want it too sweet, and you don't want too much cinnamon in it. If there's too little, it doesn't look like cinnamon sugar. If there's too much, it almost looks kind of burnt. So I find 1/2 cup of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon is the perfect combination. So the butter's melted. Perfect. So this is what I do. I take donut and just dip it really quickly into the butter. You don't want to soak it in. You just want to glaze it. Put it in the cinnamon sugar. Now, how good does that look?
They look great.
You want one?
Do I want one?
What a question. They're baked, they're not fried.
Yeah, delicious.
Is it good? Oh, good.
Unbelievable.